All right, we're on cutout number 2. I think this one will go fairly smooth. Looks like it'll be pretty easy to take apart. Bees are going in way up high and clear down low, so I'm expecting to be a pretty good sized colony in there. I'm at the Flying M Ranch in Carlton. We come up here and ride the mules quite a bit. They've got extensive trail set up, and run a dude string out of here also for rides and birthday parties for kids. They're going to tear down this old A-frame. So I'm able to run power from there. They had a good long extension cord, and I've got a couple of long ones so we can get power over here for the vacuum. So anyway, I'm going to get things set up and then we'll get back to it. Well, got the scaffolding back up in place. Had to run it the other direction, get it up in there. Had to spend some time hunting another extension cord because one of the ones I brought looks like that. So that isn't going to work very well. I forgot to mention the other day, the scaffolding has been part of my life for many years. I learned to weld on it when I was about 12. Dad built these frames, and he built them out of really heavy material because the only welder he had was a gas-powered generator welder, stick welder. Had a big, I don't remember, was it Wisconsin engine on it, I believe, with a rope that you wrapped around to pull. And I had about 2 pulls in me. If it didn't start in 2 pulls, I was done at that age. But I built some lighter pieces in later years so that it's easier to get them up on the high spots. My wire welder made it a lot easier to put together lighter material. But I've been using this and dragging this around for a long time. Dad finally got to where he didn't need it anymore and pawned a bunch off on me. And it's miserable to have to store it and you know, keep the board somewhere, and you know, it takes up space and they're heavy and hard to move. But boy, once you get them set up, it's a dream. You know, so much easier to do this with a nice platform up there instead of standing on a ladder. You know, it's safe. I can have all of my stuff right up there. I can cut frames and fit them, and you know, my bucket of water, you know, a place to set the smoker, everything's right up there with me. It really is nice. So anyhow, we're going to get climbed up there and set up and see what we find. Well, here's where the bees are going in and out. There were some going in and out a little higher too, and then there's some clear down here lower. I've just spent the last hour and a half fixing extension cords, trying to figure out why I didn't have power. Finally got it running, so we'll get the smoker going again and start taking things apart. Well, here's what we have at the peak here. This very easily could be 2 colonies. I'm going to try to clean this one up before I get down and see if that lower one is connected to it. I have a barrel that I've punched a bunch of holes into because this box and this contraption my buddy built is not real big, and it gets too many bees in it. They start overheating, and then you get a little nectar sucked in there and they get wet, and it's just really tough on them. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to dump those into this other barrel where they can spread out a little, and I can mist the outside with water, keep them or not. But I haven't seen a whole lot of brood yet. Just some pieces that have fallen out here that were pretty darn empty. So we'll keep on it and see where we go next. Cooled down. I want to build a better tub for this because I've still got about half the colony to go, and this tub is really crowded. So that's what we're going to try to do next. Now I've got that one out of there. See the flyers coming back, and the ones when I dumped the bucket, I did it twice into that big barrel, and man, am I glad I brought it, because there's 5-6 pounds of bees in there. But it appears to be that this is a separate colony. I'm going to break into it and see how big it is. it's not big, I can take it. If it's too big, I'll have to come back because I didn't really come prepared to get to. But I might be able to set the camera up and show you guys a little more stuff the way this is set up. Well, we're in. There's another large comb set down here, and there definitely is a hole in between them, but a big area with no comb. So whether it's two queens working close together and not worrying about it, or whether there's you know, just one running back and forth, I don't know. There is some brood down here. We got cap brood. Not seeing any eggs, but I haven't got inside yet. So she may have just moved up onto fresher comb, though none of this comb looks that old. So we'll get in here to taking it apart and see what's what. Well, got it all out of there. There's still a heck of a lot of bees, but I have way too many in the boxes now. I just can't get them all. They're gonna get way too hot before I get home. That's why I didn't get some other stuff I wanted to shoot on their shot. I just had to get moving with it. They're gonna be overheated. So anyhow, got her done. Get extension cords back where they go and get the hell out of here. All right, that last cutout was a little feverish in the heat. Took too long to get set up to do it. Haven't even had a chance to look at the footage yet, see how it turned out, but I thought I would talk a little bit about some of the equipment used. That way, if that footage isn't very good, at least there'll be something in here worth watching. So this is a BVAC box that my friend Dave built. I can tell that he threw it together really quickly when he needed it one day, and it does function. I've done 2 cutouts now, so I'm a professional. And my professional opinion is it's too small. I dumped this tub here, which is where the bees go into, twice, and then filled it up again on the last cutout. Had a lot of bee loss on the first one because it was just too many bees in this box. So it needs to be bigger. It should be at least the size of this tub. But what we've got here is a box that has a lid that will seal fairly well, and a vacuum cleaner hole where the vacuum cleaner plugs into, which creates a vacuum in this bigger box right here. Then there's a smaller box inside with screens in it so that the vacuum can get into that box, and then a pipe that runs through both and comes out to the outside. Now, the vacuum cleaner hose that you use to suck the bees up goes in here. And then this little flapper allows you to adjust, very minimally, but adjust the amount of pressure you're pulling those bees in with, because you don't want them going in at the full force of the vacuum. So you want them going in very gently. And that all worked really well. It's just the container needs to be bigger, or multiple containers. And what would be slick would be, you know, have a number of these same smaller containers built. You could take it out, plug it into a bigger container, and the bees could go into that. So that's the vacuum cleaner box. I used a cooler for putting the comb in that didn't have brood. It's got some honey and pollen and then just some empty stuff, just to have it in because I could close the lid. Gave me another platform to work off of. You want a good bucket of water. It doesn't take a lot, but you need to be able to rinse your hands. That vacuum cleaner is not a large vacuum. It doesn't need to be. You just need to be able to create some vacuum. But this barrel that I put together, and I need to drill more holes in it. I just get tired of drilling holes. But I put it together to take my bee shakes when I'm setting up my mating nukes, and I need to shake a lot of bees so that they have room in there to spread out. And that was a lot more successful when I dumped 2 of those bins into this. The bees had more air. I could hit it with water on the outside where they could get water. It helps cool it down. So that's pretty good barrel for that. But let's see, back to this thing, I guess. So there's lid that goes on this one on the inside, and that's the box the bees go into, and the lid on top here. So that's how that works. It's pretty slick. The other tool, which was very handy, is this old knife. It's a large knife, which meant I could reach way up in there and cut comb free. The other thing that I found that was nice with it is when that comb starts to come free, I could get the knife under it to help support it. And it could lay on that, and I could move it over to a flat surface to work it better. I was really hoping to get footage of that stuff when I did this, but it just didn't work out. Things were a little frantic, and it does take extra time to shoot video. So I wanted to get the bees out of there before I had any more loss than necessary. So anyhow, just thought I'd talk about a little of that stuff, and we'll see if I can put that in the video somewhere.